Okay, 27th of January, Rabbi Furst, Parsha, Hashavua, Bo.
And thank you, Lou. As Rose said, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst Shivat Samanavshi here in Yerushalayim, care of Zoom, and we are in, as Lou said, Parshas Bo, Erev Shabbos, Shana Tafshin Pei Gimel, Parshas Bo. Okay, let's start like this. As we were saying, now this is a very big point that has to be clarified. We're not going to clarify it in any even small way right now, but just to point out based on what we were just talking about, yeah, if we want to take a look in Parsha Perek Yud Aleph. And you know what? I'm sorry. Let's start at the beginning. Look at this. Let's go to the beginning of the parshas. We Perek Yud Pasuk Aleph. Let's do Pasuk Aleph and base.
Yud. Oh, that's 10. And would you say Aleph?
Yeah, very, very beginning of the parsha.
Thank you.
Okay, should I read?
Yeah, look, yeah, very good. We've been missing you. You were missed, Lou.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I missed the share, although my days were very full.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Vayomer Hashem el Moshe Bo el Paro ki ani hich badati es libo the es lave avadav l'ma'an shite ososai ele vikir bo. So Hashem said to Moshe, now Bo, it says, come, I have entered unto Paro, because I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, in order to put these signs in his midst. Want me to read Rashi?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Hashem said to Moshe, enter to Paro and warn him. Shiti, I shall place. Shumi, my putting. She'ashis ani, that I will put. In this context.
Right. It's going to be placed. It's going to be set out there in front of him. And so right here in this pasuk itself, you see, you have here hikbadati es libo, right? I have hardened the heart of Paro, es leiv avodav, right? And the leiv of his avodav, of his servants, laman shisi osai ela bikirbo. I shall place and I shall establish my osos, my wonders, bikirbo, in their midst. Now, this is a whole big question. I'm sure you've heard of it, and maybe you've discussed it this year. You've heard of it in previous years. The whole point about the hardening of Paro's heart, right? We've probably heard discussions about this. It's a big subject. Exactly what's going on here. To tell you the truth, I haven't really come to a full, absolute conclusion about what it's all about. What I understand it to be in a very basic way is because you have here the juxtaposition of the concept of free will and the hardening of Paro's heart. And how do you reconcile a hardening of somebody's heart that apparently that seems to be at the surface level a lack of free will, right? With the primary underlying condition of human existence that everyone has free will. No one is doomed to be in a certain way. The fact that a person's a human, he is given free will and he's expected to exercise his free will. And through exercising his free will in the right way, he gets rewarded. And for exercising his free will in the wrong way, he's punished, right? So if in fact Paro's heart is in the simple understanding, his heart is hardened, meaning he's lost his free will. So at that point, there's no situation where he can be punished. Not only that, right? The first words of Rashi, v'hasrei boy, to warn him, right? To warn him. Now, don't forget, this is V'yomer Hashem el Moshe. Hashem is commanding Moshe to go to Paro, and as Rashi says, to give him a warning, right? To give Paro a warning. Now, if in fact Paro lost his free will through the hardening of his heart, so what would be the purpose of giving a warning? You only warn somebody who's going to possibly listen to your warning. So apparently we can't understand the concept of hikbadati es liboy, the hardening of Paro's heart, in the simple sense.
And this is not the first plague.
No. This is first of all, this is not the first plague, and this is not the first time this phrase has been used. This phrase hikbadati es liv Paro, right? He strengthened his heart. It's been mentioned before previously. You could actually. And it's been done. People have commentaries from Rishonim, Gedoli Doros, have spent time on trying to understand the sequence of events taking place here, the Makus and the statements that are made about Paro's heart. But here in this particular pasuk, in this particular Rashi, the fact that in the same breath, Moshe is being told by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, that he's hardening his heart, and at the same time he's going there to warn him. So therefore, many explain, and this is what I've come to accept, at least temporarily, as a temporary understanding of what this concept of hikbadati es libo is. That really Paro would have normally already have submitted to the demands of Moshe Rabbeinu. Under normal circumstances, right, Paro would have already submitted to his commands, right? But that would be because of the matas that are taking place, because of the punishments which are taking place.
Yes, this book now.
He hasn't printed it yet.
So, in order to preserve Paro's free will, Kadosh Baruch Hu is hardening his heart. I'll give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is a halacha. It's brought in the Gemara. It's in Shulchan Aruch as well. That a person he's supposed to give a get to his wife. He's obligated. It's been determined that he's supposed to give a get to his wife. He doesn't want to give a get to his wife. He doesn't want to give a get. And the woman cannot be a free woman. She can't be free for the marriage unless she gets a get. impossible any other way. So in such circumstances, depending on the particular facts of the situation, Beis Din has a right to lash the person. He can give the person lashes until he admits that he's going to give a get. Now, there's a condition about giving a get. A get has to be given with free will. If a person's gives a get under duress, meaning if he's held at gunpoint and he said, give this get or else, so he gives the get, but in his heart, he's not at all interested in giving the get. The truth of the matter is that he's not considered to have given the get because he's been giving the get against his will. He's been forced to give the get. Similarly, we have Paro. That Paro is forced to send out Klal Yisrael. He doesn't want to send out Klal Yisrael. So just as the person who doesn't want to give the get is given lashes, right? Paro is also given lashes. So the question is asked in that Gemara in the Halacha. Well, the person who, because of the lashes, he gave the get, apparently he's not giving it with his own free will. He's giving it because he just wants not to be lashed anymore. And that's not considered to be giving the get with his own free will. So the Gemara gives an answer that really, deep down, the person really wants to give the get because that's the halacha. The halacha is that under these circumstances, the man's obligated to give a get, and therefore, deep down, he really wants to give the get. But there are other things that are causing him not to give the get. So the lashes are simply balancing his real, true desire, which is to give the get, because that's what he's obligated to do, and removing those things, those stumbling blocks in his mind, in his feelings, which are preventing him to do what he's supposed to do. So the person who's giving the get because he's been lashed, and now he says he'll give the get, it's considered as if now he's expressing his true free will. His true free will is that he wants to give the get, but because there are things causing him, external things which are causing him not to give the get, therefore we have to bring him to his senses, and the way to bring him to his senses is through the makas, through the lashes. Likewise, we have to bring power to his senses. He really wants to get rid of the Jews. He doesn't want the Jews to stick around anymore. The Jews are a big problem for him now. It used to be, right, that they were building and they were enslaved and they had economic usefulness, and so they were there in Mitzrayim. But now, as the Sefer, the Beis Levi explains, after the first Makkah's Dam, the Makkah's Dam absolutely, completely ruined the whole economy of Mitzrayim. It ruined the whole economy of Mitzrayim, right? And if you go back a few years when there was the Corona, so you know how it was those first months of Corona, like everything stopped. Everyone was in bidud, everyone was in quarantine. You know, the stores were closed, the restaurants closed, the transportation closed, everything closed down, right? Everything closed down, right? But that was not even approaching the damage that Makkah's Dam did to Mitzrayim. You can't understand it. I mean, can you have a concept of just take America? Let's say the water system of America, all the lakes, the rivers, the reservoirs, the water in the pipes and the storage containers, everything changed to dam. Can you understand what that would do to America? What that would do to America? And it only lasted a week, according to one of the There are the machlokas, whether the machas lasted 1 week or they lasted 3 weeks. So even minimally, if it just lasted 1 week, can you understand what that would do? So that's what happened to it. That's what happened to Egypt.
I'm
Egypt-
wondering about this concept that Paro really did want to get rid of the Jews. In the
Right.
case of the get, you said that the underlying reason is it's a mitzvah. He really wants to do it because it's a mitzvah.
Right.
In Paro's case, are we saying it's a mitzvah?
No, it's not. It's not a mitzvah, but
What's the
logically
driving
speaking-
force here?
Yeah, logically speaking, Paro should have got if it was a choice of having his nation survive or keeping the Jews. Logically, what should he pick?
Having his nation survive.
Of course, you see by Hitler and Maximum, right? According to, I mean, I'm not a historian, but even the non-Jewish historians agree, as far as I understand, that what Hitler and Maximum did in the last years of the war, by using all that energy to transport the Jews to the crematoriums, right? Those railroads, those resources should have been used for the war effort. And had he used those things for those things for the war effort, it could be that he could have perhaps won the war. And one of the reasons you can look, again, I didn't look into the story. You look at the reasons why the Germans and Maximum lost the war. You know, according to their own secular point of view. If I'm not mistaken, it's because they misused resources. They had to use the resources that they had available, right? They could have very well possibly won the war. But what was Hitler's maximum? What was his goal? His goal was not to preserve his nation, not to preserve his war effort. His goal was to destroy the Jews. So therefore, likewise, Paro, right? His goal should have been to preserve his nation. If his goal was to preserve his nation, right, then it would have been an easy decision to let the Jews out. What are you keeping slaves for in a nation in a country that's going to be destroyed, demolished? The country is demolished. What do you need slaves for? Doesn't make sense. So Paro had other interests in why he wanted to keep the Jews enslaved. Just like the person who's supposed to give the get, why doesn't he want to give the get? Because he has some other interests, right, which seemed to him at the time valid for not giving the get. So Paro had other interests which seemed to him at the time for keeping the Jews, which was an illogical and inappropriate decision. So therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is hardening his heart, right? He's giving him the strength. It's not that he's taking away his free will, but rather he's giving him the strength to continue, right, to hold back and not let the Jews out, in order that the Makos should be continued. That's what the pasuk says. Look at the pasuk again. Let's read the first pasuk again.
Hashem said to Moshe, "Enter to Paro, for I have made his heart and the heart of his servants stubborn, so that I shall place these signs of mine in his midst."
Right. You see, there's a reason given why it's at this point. Now, if you look back, I don't know if we have time to do that today. If you look back at other times when it's mentioned this phrase that is his commodity as slave Paro, right? and there's a difference. Sometimes they do make a distinction between, sometimes it says that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is doing it, sometimes it says that Paro himself is doing it, right?
Right.
But here it's said that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is doing it, and there's a reason given, because he wants to magnify, right, the wonders within the midst of the Egyptians. And there's another reason. Look at the next pasuk.
Ulaman tisaper be'aznei vincha uven vincha es asher his lalti b'mitzrayim ve'es ososai asher samti vam vidatem ki ani Hashem. So in order that you will tell in the ears of your children and the children of your children that which I made a mockery in Egypt, and my signs that I placed among them, that you may know that I am Hashem.
So you see that there's another reason given here. Actually, I think several reasons. How many reasons do we see in this pasuk? The man to stop here. Know that you should tell into the ears of your sons and your grandchildren how I made, as you said, making a mockery of the Mitzrayim. Also, and then those tell about my wonders that I placed amongst them. Three things. One, how Hashem made a mockery of the Mitzrayim. Number two, you should talk about the wonders of Kadosh Baruch Hu, what he did there, and also that it should be known that I am Hashem. So here you see that, so to speak, Kadosh Baruch Hu has an agenda with this. There's an agenda to take place over here.
So all this discussion that we just had about the giving of the get and the allowing somebody to do what he really wants to do, that's not discussed in these two psukim. These two psukim seem to be much more pragmatic in terms of, it's so that I can do more plagues, and that you can tell your children, and you'll know that I'm God. Very practical, not at all having to do with free will.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, the background of what perhaps is going on here, that's not really discussed in the psukim themselves, right? But 1 second, let me just see. 1 second. 1 second. If you want, take a look. If you want to go back to Parsha Shmos, if you have a moment. That would be in chapter Gimel, Perek Gimel Pasuk. We'll start with Pasuk Yud Tet, 19. Chapter 3, Pasuk 19.
Vani adati ki lo yitain eschem melech Mitzrayim lahaloch velo biyad chazaka. And I know that the king of Egypt will not allow you to go. And not with a strong hand. I'm not sure I follow the flow of this sentence.
Okay, what's bothering you?
This last phrase, and not with a strong hand, doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the sentence.
Yeah, it's sort of dangling at the end, right?
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, basically, I would rephrase it. I would say, I know that even though I'm using a strong hand, still the king of Egypt is not going to let you go.
yeah, okay, well, this Rashi is gonna be, look at this Rashi here. Well, again, let me hear one more point. Let me hear how you explained just now. Let me hear what you said again, please.
I would say that I know that even though I'm going to be using a strong hand, nevertheless, the king of Egypt is not going to let you go.
Okay, good. Let's hold on to that. Let's take a look at Rashi here. Start from the beginning. We'll still get a running start with all Rashi.
The king of Egypt will not allow you to go if I do not show him my mighty hand. Oh, no, that's different from what I said. That is to say, as long as I do not make him aware of my mighty hand, he will not allow you to go. He will not allow. He will not allow. Therefore, I did not allow you. And nasato, in the phrase, and God did not allow him to deal evilly with me. All of these examples of allowing express the basic meaning of the word giving. There are those who explain the phrase, and not with a mighty hand, as meaning, and not because Paro's hand is mighty.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's what caught my attention now.
I'm sorry, excuse me for a second. I'm not feeling well right now. I got to go to the bathroom.
Okay, hold on. You notice that, Roy? What that pasuk there in Shmos?
No. I haven't. Yeah.
If you want to take a look, and go back a few parshas to Parsha Shmos, chapter Gimel, Perek Gimel.
Just a moment. No, all right. Where the church did you say Shemos? To what? To Shemos.
Gimel, chapter 3, verse 19.
Other face, Gimel, Dalet. Gimel. Gimel Dalet, this is Dalet, Gimel Dalet. 19. So 17. I'm getting there. Right, verse 19. And you know that the king of Egypt will not let you go, not even by a strong hand.
Now the question is, what is the strong hand? What's the pshat of this strong hand? You have the Rashi there. You have a commentary. We bring in Rashi as well.
19. The king of Egypt will not let you go. If I do not show him my strong hand, it is as much as to say, so long as I do not let him feel my strong hand, he will not let you go. Translate this as the Targum does, he will not give leave. Similar uses the following lamed with the infinitive goodness in sense of permitting. Therefore, I did not permit these Nasasif to touch her, and God did not permit him, Nasana, to do me evil. So these passages really have a sense of giving.
Right.
Some,
What about? Yeah, go ahead. Continue on. Yeah.
some explain the phrase, below, biyad, Akar, he will not permit you to go, and this will not be because his hand is strong. For in verse 20, as soon as I stretch forth my hand, I will smite the Egyptians, and afterwards he will let you go. And so the Targum renders it, and not on account that his power is mighty.
You see, V'yad Kazaka, lo b'yad Kazaka. I mean, he's not letting you go, not because his hand is strong, meaning he's not holding you back because of his strength. Something else is holding him back, but not the strength. I mean, we were not held in our servitude when the Makkos began, not because of the strength of the Mitzri, because Hashem didn't want us to leave yet. Hashem didn't want us to leave yet. That's what kept us in Mitzrayim.
And that's sort of translated into Paro refusing to let us go because from his point of view, because what?
Because from Paro's point of view, right? He would have and should have been happy to send us out to get rid of us, right? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the time hadn't come that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted us to come out yet. So we stayed there. And that's what this pasuk is saying: is Paro will not send you out. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu is being told at the Sneh. This was Moshe Rabbeinu's first encounter with his mission of what's going to and the prophecies of what's going to occur in Mitzrayim. This was his very first introduction to the whole scenario that was going to unfold. Right?
I've let his heart to be hardened.
Where are you reading that from?
From the beginning.
At where? You're in Parshas Bo or Parshas Smosh?
Oh, I just looked at I was just looking to buy again to check with it. And I saw that it allowed his heart to be hardened and the
Yeah,
heart of his servants.
yes. Meaning what? This tells you that what? That on it, how do you understand that phrase? What does that phrase indicate? That he really, he would have wanted to send him out?
If not completely, at least a little bit. He was inclined towards it, but Hashem hardened his heart to the opposite direction. Why would he want to? Why would he be happy to let them go?
Well, because it was now, it was not just, it wasn't, first of all, it wasn't worth them keeping the Jews around. The Jews were just a big source of pain and trouble for them.
Hmm. So what were we doing in that while we were there? We were building for him.
Well, that was true. That was before the Maccas started, right? But after the Maccas began, right, so then things began to change. And as a matter of fact, at the very first Makkah, it should have been enough. The first Makkah that Paro should have, if he was allowed to, if he was thinking straight, right, he should have just come to the decision, it's time to let these Jews out. He was sacrificing his nation, and you know, a king doesn't want to lose his nation. How do we know that a king doesn't want to lose his nation? We learned that from Melech Sodom, right? If you remember, after the war that Avraham Avinu fought, he defeated 4 kings. That those 4 kings had defeated 5 kings, and one of those 4 kings that was defeated was Melech Sodom, right?
Yeah.
So by rights of war, Avraham Avinu now owned all the property of Sodom. He owned all the people of Sodom. He owned all the chattel and the you name it, whatever was in Sodom, it now belonged to Avraham Avinu.
He
So
didn't claim it.
Excuse me?
He didn't claim it.
No, he did. He declined it. He declined it. But before he declined it, Melech Sodom came and made a claim to Avraham Avinu. He said, "Listen, you keep all the chattel, all the possessions, all the wealth, and just give me the people. Just give me the people." So that seems to be a strange request, no?
Well, the king is not a king without people.
That's the point, right? If it was me or you, we're not kings, so we'll take the wealth. Make me rich. I could, but he's a king, so he can't be a king without people. There are plenty of rich people in the world, but they're not kings.
But as far as that's concerned, Abraham couldn't take the wealth of Sodom because it was dedicated to Veda Zorah.
So okay, that technically speaking, you're right. Technically speaking, that he would have taken all the Avodah Zorah and destroyed it, and whatever wasn't, he could. But in the end, he said he didn't want it in any event.
Yes.
Okay, very good. I see. Okay, our time is about up. All right, listen. We'll continue in Mitzvah Shem next week. Hope you have a very good Erev Shabbos, and hope to see you Yom Rishon.
Okay, then. So you be well. Have a nice Shabbos, you and your family.
Amen. Likewise, you too.
Be well. Yeah. Okay. Can you shut down the recording?
I think so, or Lou will do when he comes back. I'll see if I can. I'm whatever will happen. Well, you'll see if you can sign out. I don't know if it'll stop until Lou comes back.
No.
All right, we'll try our best. Be well. Have a
You
good day.
too. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shabbos. Shabbos.
Tell me when I can go in the room and stay out. No, it doesn't have to be big, it has to do with the floor. I'm thinking of taking a nap at 11:40. Okay, good. Right now I'm doing the kitchen, so.